Hey there, future millionaires. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having an absolutely amazing day wherever you're watching from around this incredible world of ours. Today, we're diving into something really exciting. We need to talk about XRP. But first, I've got some breaking news that you're going to want to hear about. There's a massive surge happening right now with Aussies jumping into cryptocurrency, and it looks like it's about to get even bigger as the Labour government is eyeing some game-changing new laws. So, grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's break this all down together. So here's what's happening. Millions of Australians are about to jump into crypto, and I'll tell you exactly why. New YouGov data just dropped, and it shows that over 4 million Aussies who don't currently own any cryptocurrency are ready to buy in. But there's one catch. They're waiting for the government to regulate these volatile assets first. And guess what? Labour just released draft laws that could change everything. These new regulations would require all digital asset platforms to get proper licenses under Australia's financial services laws. Pretty big deal, right? Now here's where it gets interesting for us. I'm convinced the exact same thing is about to happen here in the United States. Once we get clear regulations in place, we're going to see a massive wave of new crypto investors flooding the market, just like what's about to happen in Australia. Look, there are basically two types of investors out there. You've got the cautious ones. They need to see everything lined up perfectly. They want regulations. They want to do all their research. They need that safety net before they'll put $1 into crypto. And honestly, that's totally fine. Then you've got people like us. We see the opportunity, we understand the potential, and we're not waiting around. We know there's money to be made in crypto, and we're going to make it happen. Here's the bottom line. When these regulations hit, we're going to see retail investors pour in like never before. And those of us who are already positioned? Well, let's just say we'll be ready.
Young crypto voters could decide the 2026 midterms in the United States, new poll shows.
Okay, this is huge. Over half of crypto investors just revealed that candidates' crypto policies actually shaped how they voted. And get this, many of them are now leaning Republican for 2026. Wild, right? Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Even though young voters traditionally lean slightly Democratic, the crypto voters in that same age group, they're favoring GOP candidates. Why? Because they want lighter crypto regulations, plain and simple. And the big players are taking notice. We're seeing major crypto firms like Ripple and Coinbase pouring money into Republican PACs. This isn't just campaign contributions. This is a massive shift in political influence. The crypto industry is literally reshaping politics as we know it. Let me be real with you for a second. I genuinely believe crypto played a huge role in Trump winning the election. Sure, he might have won anyway, but crypto gave him that extra push that really sealed the deal. And here's my prediction. The same thing is going to happen in the midterms. Mark my words. If you're running for office and you're not pro-crypto, you're in trouble. The voters have spoken. And they're saying loud and clear, support crypto or lose elections. It's that simple. This isn't just about Bitcoin anymore, folks. This is about political power, and crypto holders are wielding it like never before.
Finally, crypto investors have a real voice.
And that's what I love about where we're at right now. You know, I've been saying this for a while. Back before the 2024 election, I was telling everyone, get out there and vote. Make sure you're backing pro-crypto candidates, because that's how we make change happen in the United States, through our votes, through our voices. Now, let me blow your mind with something revolutionary that's happening. There's this new DNA protocol that's completely changing the game for digital identity. Here's how it works. Instead of traditional government digital IDs that put your personal data at risk, this protocol uses something called zero-knowledge proofs. And here's the kicker. It's all verified on the XRP Ledger without ever exposing your actual data. Think about that for a second. Your identity stays completely private and secure. This isn't just another tech upgrade, folks. DNA Protocol is positioning itself as a genuine alternative to government-controlled digital IDs. We're talking about taking back control of our own identity data. Private identity isn't just a dream anymore. It's starting right here, right now, on the XRP Ledger. This is the kind of innovation we've been waiting for.
All right, I've got to be honest with you about DNA Protocol. I'm really torn on this one. On one hand, I'm starting to think I might have been wrong about it initially.
Maybe this actually is the answer we've been looking for, a truly decentralized digital ID that keeps our information out of government hands. That could be huge, right? Huh. But here's the thing, and I'm just being real with you. I'm not a fan of digital IDs in general. The whole concept makes me a bit uneasy, even if it's decentralized. So here's what I'm doing. I'm keeping a close eye on this. I want to see how it develops, where it goes from here, and what it actually means for us as users. And honestly, I really want to know what you think about this. Are you excited about DNA protocol? Skeptical like me? Somewhere in between? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's have a real conversation about this because I think this discussion is super important for all of us in the crypto space. If you're still judging XRP by market cap, let me stop you right there. You're looking at it all wrong. Here's what most people don't understand. They're confusing circulating supply with total supply. It's a rookie mistake, but I get why it happens. Let me break this down for you. XRP has this brilliant escrow model that literally prevents the market from being flooded with tokens. This isn't some accident, it's engineered to stabilize value. We're talking about sophisticated design here, not random inflation like you see with other cryptos. Look, I need you to understand the truth before you miss what could be the biggest shift in finance we've ever seen. Every single time, and I mean every time, I say XRP is heading to 3 digits this run, what happens? People immediately jump in with, but the market cap. Look at previous cycles. I hear it constantly. But here's what they're missing. History tends to repeat itself, until it doesn't. And folks, I'm telling you, this run is where everything changes. This is where the pattern breaks. I genuinely believe XRP is going to emerge as the biggest shock to the entire crypto space during this alt season. People aren't ready for what's coming. And please, can we stop with the market cap comparisons? We're not investing in the stock market here. This is crypto. It plays by completely different rules. The sooner you understand that, the better positioned you'll be for what's about to happen. This is how RLUSD will dramatically increase the price of XRP. I see so many people saying it's all about RLUSD. Now, some people say RLUSD doesn't benefit XRP at all. Let me show you exactly why they're wrong with a real-world example. Imagine this scenario with me. Step 1, the setup. A major bank decides to deposit $1 billion into RLUSD. That money sits in a Ripple-supported wallet or exchange ready to go. So far, so good, right? Step 2. Here's where it gets interesting. Now the bank needs to buy XRP using that RLUSD. Let's look at what's actually on the order book. You've got 100,000 XRP sitting at 50 cents, another 50,000 XRP at $1, and 20,000 XRP way up at $5. Here's what happens next, and pay attention because this is crucial. That billion-dollar buy order comes in like a tsunami. It completely wipes out all the 50-cent orders, gone. All the dollar orders, gone. And it starts eating into those $5 orders. The price explosion. Boom! Just like that, XRP's price has rocketed to $5 or even higher. And here's the key. This becomes the new floor price because all those cheap sell orders, they're completely exhausted. They don't exist anymore. The ongoing magic. Now the bank uses that XRP for what it's meant for. Lightning-fast, low-cost international payments. Meanwhile, RLUSD keeps acting as the stable bridge that makes this whole system work smoothly, over and over again. See how they work together? RLUSD isn't competing with XRP. It's literally the fuel that could send XRP's price to the moon. They complement each other perfectly. And anyone who can't see that is missing the bigger picture. All right, we're going back to the early days here. Chris Larsen talking about Ripple's original vision for revolutionizing the entire financial system. He called it the value web. And get this, he was already describing it as the second generation of Bitcoin technology. This was years ago, and the vision was already crystal clear. You've got to hear this for yourself. Take a listen.
Money, what email did for communication. Do you think this is really going to take off to that extent?
You know, we do. When we look at the world, you see a world completely connected on an information web. And that's terrific. That makes things tremendously efficient. But what we don't have is the sense of a value web. Payments, the exchange of value is still pre-internet based on 40-year-old technology. And so that's very expensive. That really slows e-commerce. Lots of parts of the world don't have the ability to make payments. So this new technology that really is a second gen of Bitcoin enables now value to be exchanged in the same way that information is currently exchanged. And that's a big deal, we think.
But do you think, Chris, that people are actually going to be comfortable using a kind of virtual currency? I should ask you, too, how is what you've produced on the coin side, on the digital currency side, different from what Bitcoin's already doing?
So what Bitcoin set out to do is really build a new currency that had no central bank. So in a way, Bitcoin is sort of a way of storing value. Ripple is a completely different idea. We're using the same breakthrough technology, but we're using it to build a currency-agnostic value exchange or value web. So you actually don't need to adopt a new virtual currency to use Ripple. You can use it with dollars, euro, yuan, real, anything you like. We have a math-based currency built into Ripple that is like Bitcoin, but it really functions as an enabler. So we think most people will use Ripple using their existing things of value like dollars or euro or yen.
So to what extent, Chris, are you seeing pushback? I know one of the companies that you risk taking market share from is a company such as Western Union. I mean, this is a pretty regulated space. To what extent are you facing headwinds like that?
So you're absolutely right. I mean, law enforcement regulators are right to be concerned about any new technology, but we worked a lot with law enforcement. We were just in D.C. This week, for example. We work with Promontory Financial. So we think that regulators will, if you can express the potential of these to really help business and commerce, and at the same time show that they're actually more transparent systems for catching the bad guys and eliminating bad things that can happen with financial systems.
And here's something crucial to understand. Ripple has always wanted to play by the rules. From day one, they wanted to be compliant. They wanted to help law enforcement. And they wanted to build a system that's completely transparent, where everyone knows exactly what's happening. No shadowy stuff, no hidden agendas. Now think about this. If Bitcoin is the store of value, then XRP is hands down the greatest vehicle for moving that value. Period. And this is what drives me crazy. I genuinely don't understand why Bitcoin maximalists refuse to use the XRP Ledger for transactions. Imagine this. You could send Bitcoin in seconds. Seconds! For less than a penny. How is that not a no-brainer? But here's the thing. They're too proud to admit that something might actually be better than their precious Bitcoin for certain use cases. The ego is real, folks. Now fast forward from those early days to where we are today. Ripple has been fully vetted by the SEC. XRP has been through the fire and come out stronger. There's literally nothing holding XRP back anymore. And this is exactly why banks are finally ready to jump on board. But here's the plot twist. The word cryptocurrency has been like dropping an F-bomb in a boardroom. Banks hear crypto and they immediately shut down. That's the genius behind RLUSD. It's the Trojan horse that gets banks comfortable. They can work with a stablecoin first, then discover the power of XRP. Make no mistake, RLUSD and XRP aren't competitors. They're dance partners, and together they're about to change everything. RLUSD will bring value to XRP. South Korea to confiscate crypto cold wallets if taxes aren't paid.
Okay, when I first read this, my immediate thought was, how on earth are they going to seize someone's cold wallet? Like, that's supposed to be impossible, right? Well, here's what they're actually doing, and it's pretty wild. Reports are showing that authorities are using sophisticated blockchain analytics and electronic seizure tools. They're tracking transfers, linking accounts together, and identifying exactly which crypto wallets belong to people who owe taxes. But it gets even crazier. Some local governments are rolling out these systems that can match suspicious wallet addresses to actual accounts at exchanges. Think about that for a second. They're connecting the dots between your anonymous wallet and your KYC'd exchange account. And here's where it gets serious. If you don't cooperate when you owe taxes, officials can now freeze or even move your assets. Yeah, you heard that right. Move your assets. At the national level, it's becoming a full-scale operation. Authorities are teaming up with exchanges like never before. They're blocking accounts, recovering funds, and building this massive network of control. And get this. They even showed a Ledger wallet in their materials. They're literally showing us they know about cold storage. The message is clear. They're coming for crypto tax evaders, and they've got the tools to do it. This isn't sci-fi anymore, folks. This is happening right now. Now let's talk about the limits here, because this is where things get really interesting and controversial. The IRS keeps stressing they have the power to recover unpaid taxes, but hold on a second. Legal experts and lawyers are raising some serious red flags about this whole thing. Think about what they're actually talking about here. Forcing their way into people's private homes and physically taking hardware wallets. That's not just a legal minefield, it's a practical nightmare. Here's the reality. To seize a cold wallet, authorities need one of two things. Either they need to get their hands on the actual device, or they need your private keys. And guess what? Both of those typically require either a judge's authorization or, and this is key, your cooperation. The reports are also highlighting something crucial. It's way easier for them to go after assets sitting on domestic exchanges than crypto held overseas. If your crypto is on Coinbase or Kraken in the US, they can freeze that with a few clicks. But if it's on an international platform or in cold storage, that's a completely different ballgame. So what does all this actually mean for us as crypto holders? Well, it means the game is changing. But we're not completely powerless here. Understanding these limitations is crucial for protecting your assets. The bottom line, they're pushing the boundaries, but there are still significant hurdles they have to jump through, especially when it comes to self-custody and international holdings. So here's how they're actually playing this, according to the coverage. It's basically a three-step escalation process, and you need to know how this works. First, they freeze your exchange accounts as a warning shot. That's meant to get your attention and push you toward compliance. If that doesn't work, step 2. They ask you nicely to pay voluntarily. And if you're still not budging, step 3 is where it gets real. They convert your crypto to cash and use it to pay off your tax debt. Now, officials claim they're being fair about this. They say they're selling at market price and notifying both you and the exchange before they do it. But let's be honest, that's still your crypto being forcibly sold. The public reaction? It's all over the map. Some people are genuinely concerned, others are outraged, and pretty much everyone is calling for clearer rules about how far tax agents can actually go, especially when it comes to invading private spaces. Here's my take on this whole situation. I think it's going to be incredibly difficult for them to actually seize hardware wallets. That's a huge technical and legal challenge. But exchanges? That's a totally different story. I keep telling people this, and I'll say it again. Even if you're not reporting your crypto holdings or your gains, guess what? The exchanges are doing it for you. They're absolutely working hand in hand with the IRS here in the United States. That's just reality. As for seizing someone's personal wallet, though, I think that's a real stretch. The logistics alone make it nearly impossible, not to mention the legal hurdles they'd have to clear. Bottom line, your exchange crypto is vulnerable, but your cold storage, that's still your fortress, at least for now. BRICS makes 10 Eurasian countries agree to abandon the US dollar. So here we are once again. BRICS countries are pushing away from the US dollar. I'm telling you, they are going to rush to launch a gold-backed currency. Take a listen to this from Pierre Larsen. Just confirmed what many still don't see. Gold is returning as the world's reserve asset, replacing the dollar's role.
That if you look at central banks, they have been huge buyers of gold, about 1,200 tons for the past 3 years, which is a third of new mine production. It's enormous, has an enormous impact on the gold price. And at the same time, if you look at the percentage of dollar in central banks' reserve, it's gone down from 72% back in, like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 2020, down to less than 58%, while the gold reserve have more than doubled over that same period of time. So the central banks, particularly China, India, but it's also true of Turkey, Poland, most of the central banks, particularly in Asia, they're getting rid of their dollars and they're buying gold because they don't want to have, a reserve currency that's the debt of another country. The beauty of gold is that it's a currency that is not the debt of someone else. It's by itself. So that's what they're doing. And in that respect, there's a new world order. At the same time as the Chinese are developing a competing system to the SWIFT system to try to get out of the American grips of the entire world monetary system. And that is getting, traction from countries in Africa and India. And so, yes, there is a change in the world order. And, the current administration is trying to put the boot to everybody, and nobody likes it. Nobody likes to be kicked in the shin, and they try to develop some alternative to what's on offer.
This is exactly what I've been telling you guys this entire time. These countries aren't just looking for an alternative to the US dollar anymore. They want out of the SWIFT system too. And guess who's perfectly positioned to give them that alternative? RippleNet and XRP. Here's how this is going to play out, and pay attention because this is huge. SWIFT is going to be replaced over time, but it's not happening overnight. We're going to watch this unfold step by step. First up, BRICS nations. They're going to be the pioneers here, switching from SWIFT to RippleNet. Once they make that move and show it works, watch what happens next. Every other country that's tired of being tied to SWIFT, and trust me, there are many, they're going to jump ship too. We're literally going to witness SWIFT slowly lose its grip on global payments as Ripple continues to steal their business, one country at a time. It's like watching a slow-motion revolution in real time. And here's another truth bomb for you. We are heading toward a gold-backed system. Look at what central banks around the world are actually doing. Are they buying Bitcoin? Nope. They're stockpiling gold like there's no tomorrow. The writing is on the wall, folks. The old system is crumbling, and Ripple is positioning itself to be the phoenix that rises from those ashes. This isn't speculation anymore. We're watching it happen right before our eyes. Bank of Russia opens private banks to cryptocurrency operations. Okay, huge news coming out of Russia right now. The Bank of Russia just dropped a major announcement. They're opening the door for private banks to officially offer crypto services. Yes, you heard that right. Russian banks are about to get into the crypto game. Now, before we get too excited, the deputy chairman did mention there's going to be some rules. These banks will have to meet specific capital and reserve requirements. Basically, they need to prove they've got enough backing to play in this space safely. But here's the thing. Russia is clearly pushing forward with crypto adoption once again. They're not just talking about it anymore. They're actually making moves. This is a complete 180 from where they were just a few years ago. Think about what this means. One of the world's largest economies is essentially giving the green light for traditional banks to integrate cryptocurrency operations. That's not just progress. That's a massive shift in the global financial landscape. Russia is back in the game, folks, and they're playing to win. And here's what this could mean for us. This could absolutely fast-track banks here in the United States to make similar moves. It's becoming a race now. Who's going to get there first? Think about it. If BRICS successfully launches a gold-backed currency, what happens next? The rest of the world will scramble, and I mean scramble, to create their own gold-backed currencies. Nobody wants to be left behind. Same thing with crypto adoption. If Russia keeps pushing forward at this pace, advancing faster than anyone expected, every other major economy will have to accelerate their timelines too. They won't have a choice. This is why I keep telling you, forget about 2030. That timeline is old news. Everything is happening way sooner than the experts predicted. And here's the beautiful part. No matter what system they create, no matter which direction they go, they all need one thing: a bridge currency. And what's the ultimate bridge currency? XRP. That's our golden ticket right there. That's how we position ourselves to win big when this all comes together. So until that day comes, and it is coming, stay patient with me. Keep that positive mindset, and let's build this wealth together. All right, future millionaires, that's going to wrap it up for today's video. Thank you so much for watching and being part of this journey with me. I genuinely appreciate each and every one of you. I'll catch you in the next video. Until then, have an absolutely fantastic night, and keep stacking that XRP.